Welcome, 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 everyone, to the Women's Empower Network. I am so glad you're here, and I'm so excited to be sharing my new friend Betty from Ireland with us today. So, Betty, if you would tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you come to be doing what you're doing today?
Hi, Ginny. And first of all, I want to thank you for this opportunity. I'm really delighted to be here. It's an honor to be here, all the way from Ireland. Yes. My name is Betty Fitzgerald, and I'm a speaker and a coach, but I wasn't always a speaker and a coach. I started off, I spent most of my life, all of my life up until recently, teaching music. Again, like life sort of happens to a lot of us, and I didn't intend to become a music teacher, but I guess I always liked music. I had one stage when I was younger, I was thinking maybe I would be but even before I get to that, just to let you know little bit about my background, I grew up on a farm. I'm a farmer's daughter, and I grew up on a farm in Ireland, in Southern Ireland, and I was the eldest of seven. I'm the
Oh,
eldest of
wow.
seven children. Yeah. And as the eldest, you were put to work very young. So I was put to work when I was 7 or 8, and I was milking the cows before my brothers because I was the tallest. So I was used to hard work always. And I would always be busy on the farm and cooking the dinners, and so I suppose that's what I was used to. Hard work was a thing that I always felt had to work hard. So then I went to decided I would do computer science because I said, what'll I do? I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do when I left school. And I said, okay, there's good money in computers. I'll do that. So didn't have a clue. Went to do a computer degree course, hated every minute of it. I was like totally not techie, but I managed somehow to get through 2 years of computer science degree, and I said, this isn't for me. But meanwhile, I had been doing music, just again like that. Now I wasn't very, we'll say, I got a little bit of musical training, but I really wasn't trained very well. So I started my training in music at around 17 or 18, really, as I was doing my music degree and or sorry, my computer degree. Anyway, so to cut a long story short, I just continued with the music, and I suppose then when I did have a trauma, and I suppose this is a safe space for me to share this, I'm sure, is it,
Yes,
Ginny?
very, very, very. Only
Yeah,
women.
yeah, yeah. So I guess picture this Catholic Ireland, and I got pregnant with my boyfriend at the time at 21. So that was a huge trauma for me. And I had an abortion. I chose to go to England, like all of the tens of thousands of other women that went there at the time, which, that's the way it was, and until recently. And so that knocked the wind completely out of my sails. I just literally was in a place, spinning, like the guilt and the shame and the fear and the just it was just I think that was some just knocked me really a lot, at the time when I was that. So I wasn't sure what I was doing. So my mother then sort of took over. She didn't realize it, or she didn't know, but she could see I wasn't really kind of functioning, and she sort of said, look, you could do music teaching. And I said, okay. So then she's got some pupils for me. And then I sort of started that path. And to be honest, I didn't feel very confident with myself for after that. I sort of kept playing safe, taught music. This is great, perfect. Um, so then I broke up with that boyfriend. Then I met my husband, and I told him, I said, look, I didn't want to have any secrets. So he still loved me, whatever. So that was great. So we started off. So then a few years into our marriage, I had a daughter first, and I had a son, and my little boy had a liver disease, and he died at 9 months old. So at that point, then I was 29, and I just said, God is punishing me now for what I did when I was 21. So I held on to these feelings of just guilt and feeling it terrible, so you just kind of, so that kind of, I suppose, clouded my view of my my ability and my what I could do. So fast forward, move on, I had three more daughters after that, so in my 30s. So life took over, and I taught music away, but I was always looking for more. I was always going, I didn't want to settle. So when I was 40, I think it was sometimes when we hit the 30, the 40, the 50, we kind of go, okay, what's next? That was me always. So I decided to go back and finish. I had a music diploma for years, but I decided to do my degree. So I went back to college with four young children in tow, but I'm very determined. So went back to college and I did finish my music degree. And I said, okay, I'm going to do something else, you know. So I got some work in the music conservatoire, but it was always part-time. So I did that for 8 or 9 years. And again, it was never a steady job. So I suppose I always kind of felt like I was a bit of a failure with regard to career and what am I, who am I? You know, I think I was always looking for something else. But even though I loved the music, and I actually I put my heart and soul into everything I did. But then I formed a choir about 15 years ago, and this was another new adventure, and formed a very top class choir. So that was that going along. And again, I financially I never made much money. And financially was always kind of, you know, just again from my upbringing, work hard. But I suppose I never allowed myself, I didn't look at it enough or think about it enough. Anyway, so to cut a long story short, I was still looking for more. And I went off and did a master's then in my mid-50s, thinking that that's going to fix everything. And I did it in music again. What do I know? And I said, all I can do is teach music. And I'm going, okay, all I can do is, so I just felt that was all I could do until I kind of said, no, there's more, you know, and I just became aware of no degree and no amount of education is going to get me out of the way of feeling, which was stuck and sort of not good enough. And just, I began to kind of resent the people I was serving. And I said, that's not good. I can't be like this. So I turned around and I did Thinking Results, you know, Bob Proctor's program. Yeah. So that was the start of my journey for the last 3 years, which has been just self-discovery. And one thing led to another. I ended up, you know, doing some group programs, helping women with mindset. But what's even more, what came to me is I speak now. I actually became a speaker. I am a speaker. And I do motivational speaking to different women's groups. So I've spoken all around Ireland since this time last year. And I also gave a talk. I was in America in Beaumont in California, and I gave a talk there this March. So it was wonderful. So I actually can go anywhere in the world now and give a talk. You know, I can find places to speak. So it's amazing. So it's opened up a whole new world for me. And I have created a coaching program, again, mindset, and I'm continually working on myself. You know, I feel I need to do more myself on my own personal, myself, which is, you're always upskilling anyway. And I think no matter what level you go to, there's going to be fears, little terror barriers all across the way that we have to go, oh gosh, here's another thing, oh my God. So but I'm really sort of on a mission now, I think, to help women like me who, I mean, I can see it in them, you know, women born in the 1960s, you know, 60s, 70s, and who never sort of got out there to do their thing. You know, I never moved from the parish I lived in, and I wanted to experience more. And so now I feel I'm kind of there. I want to help women like that to just become more empowered and to do their thing and to write the book that they want to write and to believe in themselves. So that's where I'm at the minute. And it's been, as I say, an amazing journey so far. And yeah, it's, you know, and even just connecting here now and learning about this Facebooking and all the things you do on Facebook and posting and doing lives. I would never have done that before. Would have been, what are people going to think, you know? And we realize, of course, that people don't even care because they're all too busy with their own lives anyway. So, you know, so I did even when I started my Facebook journey, I did, during COVID, I would have taught my choir a lot of songs, and we put them together in little videos, you know, the virtual videos.
Mhm.
And we were, my sister, my husband are very good at that sort of stuff. So I was very lucky that that was there. So I taught the stuff in the background, and I sang stuff. It was amazing, you know, when you put the stuff in their ears and they sing into the screen, the choir, as they were singing. I was in their ear going, smile, and they were getting all these instructions in their ear, and it all came out beautifully. It was like they were all like this. So it was so funny. But I'm just saying that I did all that. So I feel I've always been someone that's kind of, I suppose, inspiring people is what I was doing through music. And now I feel I'm just doing it also with speaking and, connecting with women. And I love to do mostly, I do it mostly in person at the moment for the past year. I've done a few, I'll probably do a little more on virtual maybe after this now, but I'm just finding my way really. So it's great.
Aren't we all? That's
Yeah.
that's quite the journey. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
So
and I'm curious, after taking training with Bob Proctor, what made you decide to become a speaker? How did that come to pass?
um well, they're kind of connected really. The two things are connected because I think the message in the message in about our thoughts and understanding ourselves and fear and all that, that was the really important bit for me, like how it was affecting my own life. And um, you know, it's that's what people need to know. They don't People are not even aware that they can change or that they're stuck even sometimes. And I mean, there's just so much value in that. And how Bob Proctor, taught people, that you can create your reality, and then to speak it in the language of the people that I know, that women that can relate to me.
Right.
And that's why, I mean, I've always been interested in personal development stuff. Anyway, I have books. There are lots of books, and I was Louise Hay. I would have had that 25 years ago, so I would have all been picking up books. So I guess it was always there, my love for that. And indirectly I was kind of supporting people, and on a even through the music, I'd always be encouraging people to do a solo or help them, so that's just the way I operate, I suppose. So yeah, but the Bob Proctor's working within the universal laws, where it's all at really. But I didn't understand that for a long time, and I wish I'd known this stuff 20 or 30 years ago. It would have saved me a lot of hassle.
Right. So there's a lot of self-forgiveness in there, I would imagine.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, because that sort of eats into us. And actually, I do believe, at one point as well, another thing that happened to me that I forgot to mention. When I was 40, I developed arthritis in my hip. And I know at the time I was having, we say, resentful, kind of jealous thoughts around my sisters-in-law, the two sisters-in-law that I wouldn't have kind of got on with. And again, when you don't understand these things and you're creating these silly things in your life, I firmly believe that I developed arthritis because of my thoughts, because of my negative thinking. And I had to have a hip replacement at
Oh, wow.
41. So I
Wow.
was like, and I said, oh my goodness, what did I do that for? So it was really, I just it just a lot of stuff, happened. And looking back, it's easy to join the dots looking back when you see what happened. And I, as I say, I firmly believe, and I, say to women this, and this is what we do to ourselves when we criticize ourselves and we give out to ourselves and we've no self-love and compassion, and and I didn't understand. And what I didn't understand, I couldn't kind of help really. And I never went for counseling or anything like that. I would have gone for grieving counseling right after I lost my son, but I never did any other counseling or anything like that. But so I guess I just came to a point where I had to say, okay, enough is enough. So
But also, I want to point out something too, that it sounds like you picked a really good man um, as your husband, who's now still a partner and very, very supportive in what you do.
yes, yeah, he is. He's great. And he's always been there by my side, and I'm so grateful to have him. And it's we get on well, and I just couldn't have married. I couldn't get into a marriage without, with that secret, like that. That was just a big thing. It's just, now maybe it's not as, and again, I have four beautiful daughters, and I didn't tell them until about 3 years ago, because I wanted them to know me fully. So,
Right.
yeah, and that was important for me as well. But that took a bit of, again, I had to find the right way to fine with it because things have moved on now, it's not thought of as, no, it is terrible. It's, it's awful. But I just felt trapped. I remember just feeling like a trapped, and Catholic Ireland was really, it was so difficult that time,
Well,
it
yeah,
was
that's what I was thinking about, that there's so much shame and guilt built into that particular religion. And when you're doing something that's outside what's acceptable,
yeah,
I'm amazed that you came through it so well in the long run.
yeah,
Because I could see
yeah.
where you could be sabotaging yourself or not feeling deserving, and but you kept moving forward.
And do you know, funny thing about it is I am the organist in the church for the last 40 years. Since I was 18 or 19, I had been the organist at this, that time. And I think what I did then was I started a carol service in our community, in our church. And I started it 20 in 1996, which is 7 or 8 years ago. And I've done it every single year, and to raise funds for charity, and I get everyone singing, and it just got so big. It got too so big that we've put it on 3 times, and that it's been a huge success and a great community thing. So I guess no, I don't think that was directly. I did that because of my love for getting the community singing together, but I think I've always been one. I love standing in front of a group of people, either conducting them or speaking to them. So it's like, that's my thing, I suppose. Yeah. It energizes me, you know.
Huh. So it was kind of something you were born with, in your personality.
Maybe so. And I actually came across someone told me, the way that we have these, what you call the archetype things, the way you get
Right,
these.
right, yeah.
So I was told that I was a celebrity. So I did, okay, I'm a celebrity. But I guess this part of me wants to be, the to be not to be seen, or to be out there, and I just wants to be like a celebrity. I often thought I could be the principal of a school or the CEO of a company or something,
Well, you're the
somewhere.
CEO of your life.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. So, but I didn't understand any of this because I was totally oblivious to all this stuff going on with coaches and entrepreneurs and all that stuff. And I was self-employed, but again, it was just playing very small, and it was very limited what I was earning. And, so this is just a huge awakening for me. And the fact that I'm helping women to, I suppose, to find their power, because I just felt like that broken woman, for such a long time. Um, and yeah, that's kind of where I've come from. So, and now, as I say, I've coached women now, some one-to-one training, and I also have created some programs as well, to help them. And learning all those skills has been huge as well for the past 2 years in particular. Yeah, so it's great.
That's
So that's where,
amazing. And so you're helping women empower themselves and help them with their mindset. And
yeah,
tell me more
yeah.
about that.
Um, well, I guess it's from my experience. I just created a program from where I'm coming from, my perspective of it, my kind of way of viewing it, so I suppose teaching them the tools of mindset, and again just coaching them. Again, knowledge is power.
Yeah.
Bob Proctor said knowledge is power. Ignorance, when you don't know what you don't know, you don't know. And and again, it's about, self-love, and and sometimes when you tell, in Ireland, it's not very we wouldn't be that open to self-love. It'd be sort of, who does she think she is, talking like that? There's a bit of that. A lot of people in Ireland are more skeptical, and they wouldn't be as open to um, you know, speaking this way, about self-love. And it just wasn't it's not the done thing really now. Not before now. I think it's changing now.
Yeah.
But in my generation, and I just still see even some of my friends, and I just see how they give out to themselves, and I never force anything on anyone if they want, I'll never say, oh, you should be doing this, that, or the other. They can see, they'll come if they want it. You can never, if someone is ready for it. So
That's so beautiful. And I love that you followed those urges, those that something was always calling you for more.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, because I think it's a bit like I've learned, when I'm conducting a piece of music, I'm there and I just always feel I'm, creating the sound, you're getting I've four-part choir and I hear all the parts of the choir and I'm creating this sound with my hands. And then when we think of the work with when you're creating your destiny, you have the formless substance that's there. We have these thoughts, we can actually do what we want with them, with this energy that's there for all of us. And it's the same thing, the formless substance. You get this, we all get this bundle of energy. We can do what we like. I can create one thing, you create something else, and somebody else creates something else. So it's a bit like that's what it feels like for me now that I'm creating, something new again. Um, and I'm continue to conduct my choir. That's my musical outlet. And this just speaking and has brought a whole new, I suppose, perspective. And it's just interesting to see how women react to it. And there's a lot of people open to it now, and just the ones that are ready will just jump on.
Right?
There's no, what do they say is there's this thing that what is it, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. That has
Exactly.
happened several times during the year, and I've noticed, oh my goodness, and even when people joined I had an online choir for about a year, and again I had a Facebook group and everything. Um, they're looking for more than just the singing. It was connection they're looking for.
Right.
The singing was just an excuse. And it's not, yeah. And it's actually not very satisfactory, really, doing choir singing online, because you're there on your own singing with your microphone and you just do your line. And so it was great. And I actually, what the great success was that I had, my group was called the Digital Dawnbirds. So that was the name of the group I had. And I actually, though, that group came and they sang with my choir at a concert last October. So I finished it up with that. Then I sort of wrapped up the whole thing. I said, look, we'll just do this one gig. So yeah, it was incredible. All these journeys and connections you can make. It was
That is
great.
so beautiful. I'm
Yeah.
so glad you agreed to do this interview with us today. Is there any parting words of wisdom that you would like to share with the group?
Okay. I guess uh it's just, I suppose, for me personally, it was, that it's never too late to start. I've always felt I'm a sort of a late achiever, really. I'm late, I seem to have done everything late and the wrong way around and all sorts of things. So I guess to never give up on your dreams, that it's never too late to start. I mean, I started a business at 60 and I'm going, okay, it's a big change and it's a responsibility too. But it's also very rewarding. So never give up on your dreams. It's never too late to start. And I think a lot of women do feel a bit lost when they get to this age, when the children are reared and their sense of purpose kind of goes, and they have to dig deep then and look back. But it's worth the effort to dig deep and go out and do your thing, girls, because we've only one life to live and we want to make the best of it.
Right? Exactly. Well, Betty, thank you so much for being here. And as always, we'll put all the links how to get in touch with Betty if you really resonate with her and her message and want to learn more about what she's doing and teaching and mindset. We'll be sure
Mhm.
to get a way for you to get in touch with her. So again,
Okay.
Betty, thank you so much for being here.
And thank you, Ginny, for the opportunity, and take care.